Ride1Up reached out to me and said that they were going to be announcing a brand new bike, and they wanted to know if I wanted to take a look at it first and maybe create some initial content, kind of like what I did with the CF Racer 1. And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll take a look. Well, to my surprise, it's the Roadster V3, and I think that there's a lot of people who are going to be happy to see this bike out on the market. Okay, so here is the Roadster V3. What's really nice about this is it comes in at a super good price at $1,295. I think this is an extremely affordable bike if you're wanting to commute or if you're wanting to use this as a flat bar gravel bike. This is definitely going to be, I think, a really good option for a lot of people. Now, this particular one does come in two different colors. You've got this kind of really dark black color here. I don't know if there's any paint flecks in this, kind of like what we found on the CF Racer 1, but it looks really good from what I can see online here. Now, this bike is available in one other color. We'll take a look at it here. This is a green color. I think this is a cool color too. It reminds me a lot of the gray, kind of a matte color that you found on the CF Racer 1. I like this. This is good options, whether you want a really dark bike or you want something a little bit more bright, not quite color, but a little bit brighter. This is a really kind of soft green, looks really nice. But looking back at the black version here, I just want to take note of a couple of things. It does come in 3 different frame sizes, which is really cool. The smallest one is going to be the low step version. So this is kind of like a step over. It's not quite a true step over because you still have a top bar, but the top bar, as you can see, is actually angled down quite a bit. So it'll be easier to step over as compared to the small version here, and then also the large version. Now, these 3 frame sizes are available in all the colors, so whether you want the green or the black. But the other interesting thing on this is that it comes either in a 10-speed drivetrain or a belt drive. So if you're wanting something super simplistic, you can get this in a belt drive. But if you live in a very, very hilly area and you want to be able to take advantage of having good gearing, then the 10-speed drivetrain is going to be the one for you. Now, the benefit of a belt drive, very low maintenance. You're basically going to not have to do any maintenance to the bike as far as the drivetrain goes unless something catastrophic happens. But if you live in a super hilly area, it may not be the one that you want to go with. But if you live in a relatively flatter area, belt drives are super nice, really, really quiet. I really enjoy belt drive bikes. But looking at a few other things just right off the bat, both of them come with these really nice metal black fenders. They look really, really good. Got a relatively small motor. I'm betting that this motor is 350 watts. Let's take a look down here. Let's just scroll down to the stats and see what it says. Actually, it's a 500 watt motor. That's impressive. It does have 50 Newton meters of torque, but it is a 500 watt motor, which is going to be a more powerful motor than what the CF Racer has, but it may need that since it does weigh a little bit more. This bike comes in right around 39 pounds, where the CF Racer comes in between 27 and 28 pounds. So you probably do need a little bit bigger motor to push this bike along. It's either a class 1 or a class 3 e-bike, and it can go upwards of 28 miles an hour, making it a class 3. I'm not sure how they ship it. My guess is they probably ship it as a class 1 with a max speed of 20, and then you probably have to unlock it from there. They're claiming a range between 20 and 40 miles. My guess is this probably has a 10 amp hour battery, but we're going to have to take a look. But what I found really interesting is they have this new Intui drive torque system, which is their brand new version of a torque sensor built into the actual bottom bracket. What I find interesting about this is that they tried to do, and they did successfully, a cadence sensor on the CF Racer 1 and made it feel more like a torque sensor. But I think a lot of people were left wishing that they had a real true torque sensor. And it looks like they have been testing this over the years. I haven't actually been sent one of these yet, so I'm hoping that Ride1Up will send me one to review. and actually be able to test one out in person. But it does have Samsung batteries, and they're saying that they're the GB50 batteries, which are the high capacity 21700 cells. These should be really high quality batteries. And it does look like this battery is removable. I like to see that because on the CF Racer 1, the battery is not removable. And sometimes you can't take your bike into, say, the office and charge it. You might not be able to charge it everywhere, but if you can have your battery removable, you can lock your bike up, take the battery in easily, especially a 10 amp hour battery, if that's what this is, be able to charge it really, really quickly. It does have Schwalbe GS1 RS Super Race tires. I believe those are, yeah, 45C tires. That's an awesome set of tires. I absolutely love 45 and 50C tires. They make the ride so much smoother. They just grip better. You can run a little bit lower pressure between like 30 and 40 PSI. Just gives you a little bit better ride. It is a 10 amp hour battery, and they claim that it has a smart battery management system built into it, which that's pretty typical for brands to say that their battery management system is smarter. But I kind of believe them because Ride1Up has done such a good job with their batteries in the past. It is a 36 volt system that's 18 amps. So I think it's going to be pretty peppy. For a 500 watt motor with 18 amps, I think you're going to see a pretty peppy bike. It's going to definitely make you feel like a superhuman on your commute. But it does have a pretty interesting display. Let's scroll up here to where we can see it. I like this a lot. I love these minimalist displays that actually display important information. And it does look like this one does display pretty much kind of the same stuff that we see on the CF Racer 1. You don't really need a lot of information, just mainly speed, maybe your distance, maybe your trip, what mode you're in. But I like how compact it is, and this does sit on the bars as opposed to out front like the CF Racer 1. I do really like these buttons though. They're right there, easy to hit. Looks like you got some plus and minus buttons, maybe some sort of toggle button, and then a power button on the side. But looking here, looks like it does come with some Tektro hydraulic 2 pistons. If you've been around this channel long enough, you know that I like Tektro brakes. They're reliable, easy to fix. If anything happens to them, easy to find pads for them. One of the interesting things on the belt drive version is it has a 64 tooth front chainring on it. And then the rear is going to be a 20. That's a huge combination. So you should not experience any ghost pedaling. If this thing is set up like I think it is with that gear ratio at 28 miles an hour, you should still have tension on the pedals, which is what you want to see. But if you do go with the 10-speed version, this is something that I really like. It's got a 42 up front, and it's got a 1136 on the back. That's a great combo for commuting. But what's really cool is they went with Shimano Dior. And the shifter is going to be a trigger shifter, which is fantastic underneath the bars. But what I really like about it is that they went with a Dior rear derailleur. So that means it's going to have a clutch built into it. So your bike's going to be super quiet. That chain's not going to be flopping around if you hit some bumps. And being that it's a Dior, it's mountain bike, so it's going to be super durable. You're not going to have to worry about that derailleur going bad on you. And if it does, you can go into any local bike shop. They should have Shimano Dior parts on hand. It's the most popular mountain bike series of products. So yeah, no problem there. Went with 680 millimeter wide handlebars. So it's going to be pretty narrow in comparison to a mountain bike. A lot of mountain bikes come with 760 or 780 millimeter. So you've got a nice wide stance. But these are going to be narrow so you can fit through some of that traffic that you may run into out on the road. Yeah, that's pretty much everything here. The sizing of this bike looks to be kind of not super aggressive, but also not super laid back. Kind of an in-between standard bike style. I kind of look at it as like almost like messenger bike style type vibes. Looks like it can hold up to 300 pounds, and here are all of the different heights for each one. So if you're between 5'8" and 6'3", you want the large. 5'3" and 5'8", you want the small. 5'1" to 5'10", you're going to want, if you want the step through or low step. So yeah, a lot of really cool stuff here. I think this bike has a lot of promise. If you've been kind of looking at the CF Racer 1 and thinking you didn't want to spend that much money, but you want a flat bar version of a bike, you're willing to go aluminum, $1,295, I think this thing's going to fly out the door. It's really cool. I hope to get to review one of these. If you guys do pick up one of these bikes, I would really appreciate it if you found this helpful, if you used my links down below. That lets Ride1Up know that you came from my channel. Those are affiliated, so I do get a little bit of a kickback at no additional cost to you. And also, that might encourage them to send me one of these to actually try out. Click that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. But as always, get out there and ride your bike.